The Knights Hospitaller and their role in the Crusades. The Knights Hospitaller, also known as the Order of St. John of Jerusalem, were one of the most prominent military religious orders established during the Crusades. Emerging from a humble beginning as a hospital order dedicated to caring for sick and injured pilgrims, the Hospitallers evolved into a formidable military force. Their dual mission of providing medical care and defending the Crusader states made them integral to the crusading effort. This essay explores the origins, evolution, and impact of the Knights Hospitaller during the Crusades, as well as their lasting legacy. Origins of the Knights Hospitaller. Foundation as a charitable order. The Knights Hospitaller trace their origins to a hospital established in Jerusalem in the 11th century by a group of Italian merchants from Amalfi. The hospital, dedicated to St. John the Baptist, provided care for Christian pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land. It operated under the protection of the Benedictine order and served as a refuge for the sick and weary. After the success of the First Crusade, 1096 to 1099, and the establishment of the Crusader states, the hospital expanded its mission. In 1113, Pope Paschal II formally recognized the group as a religious order, granting it independence and papal protection. This marked the beginning of the Order of St. John, which would later become known as the Knights Hospitaller. The transition to a military role. As the Crusader states faced increasing threats from Muslim forces, the Hospitallers began to take on a military role. By the mid-12th century, they had evolved into a military religious order, combining their charitable mission with the defense of Christendom. The transition reflected the broader militarization of religious orders during the Crusades, exemplified by the Knights Templar and the Teutonic Knights. Structure and organization. Hierarchy of the order. The Knights Hospitaller were organized into a hierarchical structure, blending monastic and military traditions. Grand Master, the supreme leader of the order, elected for life by its members. Knights, the core members of the order, who took vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience and were trained as warriors. Sergeants and servants, non-noble members who provided support in both military and administrative capacities. Clerics, religious members who performed spiritual duties and maintained the order's religious foundation. Funding and resources. The Hospitallers were financed through a combination of donations, land grants, and revenues from properties across Europe. Their wealth allowed them to build fortifications, maintain armies, and provide medical care. This extensive network of resources made them one of the most powerful institutions of the medieval period. The Knights Hospitaller in the Crusades. Role in the defense of the Holy Land. The Knights Hospitaller were instrumental in defending the Crusader states, particularly during times of crisis. They established and maintained a series of castles and fortifications, including Croix de Chevaliers, a massive fortress in Syria that served as a key defensive stronghold for the Crusaders. Margate, another strategic fortress that played a crucial role in securing the Crusader states' northern borders. These castles not only served military purposes, but also acted as centers of administration and refuge for pilgrims. Major battles and campaigns. The Hospitallers participated in many significant battles during the Crusades, including the Siege of Ascalon, 1153. The Hospitallers played a critical role in capturing this key port city, which bolstered the Crusader states' control over the region. The Battle of Hattin, 1187. The order suffered heavy losses in this catastrophic defeat, which led to the fall of Jerusalem to Saladin. The Siege of Acre, 1291. The Hospitallers fought valiantly in the defense of Acre, the last Crusader stronghold in the Holy Land. Despite their efforts, the city fell, marking the end of Christian rule in the region. Medical and humanitarian contributions. Even as a military order, the Hospitallers maintained their commitment to providing medical care. They operated hospitals that treated both Crusaders and locals, regardless of religion. This dual mission of combat and caregiving set them apart from other military religious orders. The Hospitallers after the Crusades. Relocation to Cyprus and Rhodes. After the fall of Acre in 1291, the Knights Hospitaller relocated to Cyprus, where they regrouped and redefined their mission. In 1310, they captured the island of Rhodes, establishing it as their new base of operations. From Rhodes, The Hospitallers launched naval campaigns against Muslim forces, protecting Christian shipping and maintaining their role as defenders of Christendom. The Order in Malta. In 1530, the Hospitallers were granted the island of Malta by Emperor Charles V. From Malta, they continued their naval operations, famously defending the island against the Ottoman Empire during the Great Siege of Malta in 1565. This victory solidified their reputation as a bastion of Christian resistance against Islamic expansion. The legacy of the Knights Hospitaller. Cultural and architectural contributions. The Hospitallers left an indelible mark on the architectural landscape of the medieval world. Their fortresses, such as Croix de Chevaliers, are among the finest examples of Crusader military architecture. These structures not only served defensive purposes but also symbolized the Order's enduring presence. Survival and continuity. Unlike the Knights Templar, who were dissolved in the early 14th century, the Knights Hospitaller survived and adapted to changing circumstances. Today, their legacy continues through the Sovereign Military Order of Malta, which focuses on humanitarian and medical missions. Historical impact. The Hospitallers played a crucial role in shaping the Crusades and the broader medieval world. Their combination of martial prowess, charitable work, and spiritual devotion exemplified the ideals of Crusader chivalry. While their military activities often overshadowed their humanitarian efforts, their dual mission highlighted the complexity of medieval religious orders. The Knights Hospitaller and the broader impact of their crusading role. The Hospitallers as a symbol of Crusader ideals. The Knights Hospitaller stood as a symbol of the crusading spirit, an embodiment of devotion, service, and martial prowess. Their dual mission reflected the broader ideals of the Crusades, which sought to merge religious piety with military action. This unique combination allowed them to maintain a respected position among both allies and adversaries, and they became a model for other religious orders, such as the Teutonic Knights. Military tactics and strategies. The Hospitallers were not only warriors but also innovators in medieval military tactics. Their fortifications showcased advanced defensive architecture, incorporating features like double walls, moats, and strategically placed towers. Croix de Chevaliers, often considered the pinnacle of Crusader fortress design, exemplifies their expertise in defensive construction. These strongholds allowed the Hospitallers to hold out against numerically superior forces, buying time for reinforcements or negotiations. On the battlefield, the Hospitallers emphasized discipline and coordination. Their knights, clad in heavy armor and bearing the iconic white cross on a black background, formed the backbone of many Crusader armies. They often acted as shock troops, charging into the thick of battle to break enemy lines. Despite their relatively small numbers, their training and cohesion made them a formidable force. Naval warfare and the shift to the seas. After the loss of the Holy Land, the Hospitallers shifted their focus to naval warfare. From their bases in Rhodes and later Malta, they patrolled the Mediterranean, protecting Christian shipping routes from piracy and Ottoman incursions. This transition marked a significant evolution in their role, as they adapted to new geopolitical realities. The Hospitallers' naval campaigns were not limited to defense. They launched offensives against Muslim coastal cities and fleets, maintaining the crusading ethos even after the decline of the traditional Crusader states. Their maritime expertise contributed to the security of European trade routes and the broader struggle against Ottoman expansion. Relationships with other Crusader orders. Collaboration with the Knights Templar. The Hospitallers often worked alongside the Knights Templar, another prominent military religious order. Together, they defended key cities and fortifications in the Holy Land, sharing resources and strategies. Despite occasional rivalries over funding and influence, their collaboration was essential to the survival of the Crusader states. Comparison with the Teutonic Knights. While the Hospitallers focused on the Holy Land and the Mediterranean, the Teutonic Knights expanded their activities into Eastern Europe, particularly in the Baltic region. Both orders shared a commitment to defending Christendom, but their regional focuses and methods reflected the diverse challenges of the crusading era.